Hey! Long time no see. I came all the way here just to see an ugly mug like yours. Did you get the divorce papers? Did you come all this way just to check on that? And where have you been all this time? I don't need to tell you that. My husband, as always, disappeared from my life but remained the same. He left home on his own accord to elope with an 18-year-old intern, someone more than 20 years younger than himself. How despicable can one be? Do you even realize what you've done? What? He's clueless about how much he's trampled over people's kindness and how much trouble he's caused others. Do you think you could have reached this position without someone's help? What are you talking about? This is all my own doing. A sigh of disbelief escapes me, along with a feeling of shame for ever choosing such a man. After all, it was thanks to my grandfather, the president of the company, that he even got promoted. At some point, he even forgot that, living in his delusions. I'm still an employee, you know. You're being way too irresponsible. Then, it's fine by me if you want to fire me. What? Are you stupid? I can't help but let out such a remark to my incredibly ignorant husband. I'm taking my clients with me, just so you know. That's not going to make any difference. You don't understand a thing. I'm being headhunted by a rival company. They're offering to pay me nearly double. And there, standing behind my husband, was a young-looking woman, presumably his affair partner. And who is this? Oh. Let me introduce her, she's going to be my wife. We're not even divorced yet, you know? I'll pay you alimony. I have the money. It irks me to pay someone like you, but I will. Saying that, my husband starts laughing loudly. As I glared at my husband, the woman started complaining to me. Please forgive us. We are truly in love with each other. So, please give up. You're gonna regret this, you know? That's fine. We won't regret anything. And she is pregnant. So what? Having a kid after an affair, aren't you stupid? Say whatever you want. It just sounds like sour grapes to me. Honestly, hearing she was pregnant really hurt me. I had wanted children, but it never happened. It was just unbelievable. But I wasn't going to let this be the end. I had taken steps before my husband and his affair showed up. And the time had come. What are you laughing at? You'll see if you look behind you. Behind my husband stood the person he'd least want to see right now. Thinking about what was going to happen to him, I couldn't help but feel excited. My name is Charlotte, a perfectly ordinary 38-year-old office worker. The only thing that might be different about me is that my grandfather is the president of the candy manufacturer I work for. At 37, I married Oliver, who worked at the same company. I had never really wanted to get married. However, it was Oliver who was introduced to me by my grandfather, who was worried about me. At that time, I was 33 years old. So, what do you think of him? Well, he seems nice enough. I have high hopes for him. No offense, but he doesn't seem that impressive. People aren't always what they seem. Thinking I couldn't dismiss my grandfather's gesture outright, I agreed to go out for a meal. That's when I got to know Oliver better. He was easy to talk to, though a bit too full of himself at times. He tended to be domineering towards those he perceived as inferior. At that time, I didn't wish for anything more from our relationship. What's wrong? Would you like to go out somewhere again? Go out. Yes, if you're okay with it. I was unsure whether to accept, but having no other plans, I agreed to have dinner. To my surprise, Oliver, who had only talked about himself before, now escorted me properly and listened to my stories. Oliver, who had only talked about himself last time, properly escorted me this time and listened to my stories. I was caught off guard by this change, and he started to grow on me more and more. How about we go out again? Absolutely. We started dating 2 weeks after that. 3 months in, he proposed. And of course, I accepted. The next step was to meet the parents for marriage introductions. Shall we go then? I'm nervous now, even though it's a bit late for that. Well, he is the president after all. Since losing my parents in a car accident when I was in middle school, my grandparents raised me as their own. I owe them an immeasurable debt. You seem pretty calm about it. Well, he might be the president at the company, but at home, he's just grandpa. Yeah, I guess you're right. Arriving at the house, Oliver was so nervous he was fumbling over his words. I almost laughed at the difference between us. Anyway, I hope you two will build a good home together, supporting each other. You're the young folks who will carry our company forward. Yes. Yes, you can count on us. Do you have time today? We do, but... Then, the drinking started and went on late into the night. Grandpa loves his liquor, so he seemed really happy to be able to drink together. I'm not much of a drinker, so I ended up supporting a very drunk Oliver on the way home. Are you okay? I drank way too much. But I hope I didn't disappoint. No, you're fine. Grandpa was really pleased, too. That's a relief. We also visited Oliver's family home to introduce ourselves, and that went smoothly. We decided to put off the wedding ceremony for a bit longer and just submitted our marriage registration for now. Our married life was smooth, without any particular issues. Oliver was steadily climbing up the career ladder. And I felt proud to be able to witness his success up close. Now that I've been promoted, things might get busier. Yeah, I understand. Sorry for the trouble. Don't worry about it. Despite his own challenges, I was touched by his concern for me. It made me want to work hard, too. We tried to help each other out with household chores as much as possible, but one day, he started leaving everything to me. Hello? It's rare for you to call. What's up? I'm gonna be late tonight. How late? I can't say for sure. Just wanted to let you know. Wait. Just a sec. Before I could ask why, the call ended. Eventually, he came home at 1 a.m. I was already asleep, but he woke me up. Can you wake up, please? What? I want to take a bath. Can you clean it? Excuse me? You can do that yourself. It's such a hassle. Plus, I'm tired. You should do it as my wife. Well, that's true, but... No excuses. I was dragged into cleaning as if pulled by the arm. And while I cleaned the bath, he just stood there watching the whole time. Once I finished cleaning, Oliver pushed past me. Thanks. That's enough. I was just being used. If it had been just once, I might have tolerated it. But every day, he'd order me around. It was like how it was when we first met. What is this? What do you mean? This meal. It's not frozen food, is it? Of course not. It's all homemade. It doesn't taste that great, though. What did you say? I've lost my appetite, never mind. Hey! I'm in a somewhat important position now. So, I deserve better. He barely touched most of the dishes and went off to his study. Meeting Oliver, I felt for the first time like everything about me was being denied. And then, a certain event completely broke Oliver's restraint. He started to complain about even the smallest things. Doesn't the room look dirty? Not at all. I'm bringing some colleagues home tonight. Make sure everything's in order. But I have work too. So? I couldn't talk back. He questioned me as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Just make sure it's clean before I get back, okay? Until now, we had worked at the same company, so we left the house together in the morning. But today, we didn't go together. No, I didn't want to go with him. I'll go ahead then. That day, I left work on time and ran home. There wasn't much time before Oliver would be back. I cleaned the room and prepared some drinks. Then, a call from Oliver. I'm on my way back. Is everything ready? Yes. Good. And with that, the call ended. The doorbell rang, and when I went to the door, there were 4 or 5 men and women standing there. "I'm home." Brought them over, so be polite, okay? They all entered, a group of young people, all looking to be in their 20s. That day, I made sure to stay in the background as much as possible. Oliver had told me not to join in the conversation. Waiting in the kitchen, I could hear their voices. "Isn't the section chief's wife working at the same company?" "Yeah, but what about it? Just thought it'd be nice to drink together." Hearing this, Oliver burst into laughter. "What's so funny?" Sorry. She can't handle her liquor at all and is just no fun to be around." "That can't be true, can it? You don't get it. To me, she's like a tool for getting ahead." "That's pretty harsh." Most of them seemed taken aback by Oliver's words. "Forget about that, let's drink more." Hearing something so unpleasant, I crouched down on the spot, feeling distant from the surrounding noises. I thought I heard someone calling me, almost like a hallucination from the shock. The shock was so great, I even thought I was hearing things. Suddenly tapped on the shoulder, I was startled and fell over. "Are you okay?" Yeah. It was one of Oliver's subordinates who had been talking with him earlier. "I'm sorry you had to hear that kind of conversation." "It's not your fault." While we were having this exchange, I could hear Oliver's voice coming from the living room. "Hey, what are you doing? Bring the drinks quickly." It's okay, I'll bring them." I was impressed by his consideration despite being so young. As for Oliver, he was particularly close to one of the younger girls he brought with him. Seeing her drinking juice, she might even be underage. Watching Oliver secretly, I noticed he was quite touchy with her. Moreover, the girl didn't seem to mind at all. "Hey, come over here for a sec." I headed to the living room as asked, wary of what was about to happen. "What's up?" "I thought I'd introduce you to everyone finally." "That's not necessary." "Don't be like that. This is my wife, Charlotte." Pretty ordinary, right? Except for one person, the looks I received were rather cool. What's with the lukewarm reaction? "Well, she's not that interesting, but be nice." It was like a public execution. The only one laughing was the girl Oliver was flirting with. Afterwards, he said he'd walk his subordinates out. Sitting alone on the sofa, I wondered how things came to this. What did I even do? What Oliver said when he came back wasn't words of appreciation. Try to be a bit more charming next time. Everyone was making faces, weren't they? I'll be careful. No need, I won't invite them again. There won't be a next time. Too embarrassed to have you around. I'm going to bed, so clean up. I didn't even have the energy to argue back. I didn't feel like doing anything, and I finished cleaning up after 1 a.m. I finally went to bed around 2 a.m. The next day, rubbing my sleepy eyes as I went to work, I noticed the employees looking at me differently. What's wrong? You don't know? Know what? There's a rumor going around that Charlotte is the worst wife who does nothing at home. What's that? I just heard it too, so I don't know who started spreading it. I racked my brain trying to figure out why such a rumor was spread. Considering why someone would spread such a rumor. Considering the reactions of Oliver's subordinates, I doubted they had any reason to demean me. More likely, they thought Oliver was the problematic one. I was told to go to the president's office during lunch break. Something that had never happened since I joined the company. Excuse me. I knocked and entered the president's office. Sorry to call you during lunch. What did you need? We're alone here, so just be comfortable. Understood. I called you in about the rumor. I heard it from a coworker, but I don't really understand it. I see. I can't just ignore it when my own granddaughter is being talked about like that. Even as the president, I could tell he was worried. Rumors are just that, and I think everyone will forget about it eventually. That may be true, but whoever did it, it might be best not to do anything rash. If you says so, I'll leave it in your hands. Thank you. I tried not to let it bother me, but Oliver reacted differently. That night, the rumor has even reached me. It's troublesome. Unlike you, I'm in a position of authority. It's not like it's my fault. The fact that such rumors are spreading is the problem. Just don't cause me any more trouble. I wished he had lied and said not to worry about it. The rumor persisted for a while, but as time passed, it faded away, and those who had looked at me with suspicion were no longer there. Life has its downs, but it also has its ups. Today, I turned 38. My colleagues celebrated with me, and I headed home feeling uplifted. Entering the living room, I was startled by a loud noise. What? Oliver was looking at me with a smile. The loud noise turned out to be a party cracker. The table was laid with a lavish spread of dishes. What's all this?
Today's your birthday, right, Charlotte? So, it's a celebration.
Honestly, I hadn't expected him to celebrate it. I was even doubtful he remembered my birthday at all.
Come on, have a seat for now.
Given Oliver's recent behavior, I wondered if this was reality or just a dream. When was the last time I felt so fulfilled? It had been so long, I couldn't even remember.
Here. This is a present. Please accept it.
He handed me a necklace shaped like a heart. Exactly to my taste. Thank you.
I'm glad you like it.
Then, something even happier happened. We lay down on the bed together, letting the peaceful moments pass. When I gently squeezed his hand, Oliver squeezed back. We're getting on in years, huh? Maybe it's time we thought about having kids.
Oh yeah. I'd like at least 2.
We tried to conceive. But as 2, then 3 months passed, Oliver began to get frustrated. What are we doing today? HM? That's enough. Why? Isn't it too early to give up? I'm going to sleep tonight. From that day on, trying for a baby was off the table, and bringing up the topic of children became taboo. The kind Oliver was nowhere to be found. Moreover, he started finding reasons to stay at hotel or at the office overnight. But that was unthinkable. Given Oliver's personality, it was unlikely for him to stay at such places. And then, I'll be staying at the office tonight, so go to bed without me. Wait a minute. Our company has a policy against staying overnight at the office, doesn't it? What? I'm an exception. Besides, the president has been talking about making me an executive. The rumors were true. I haven't heard anything about that. They probably thought there was no need to tell family members. That's hardly a justification. I shouldn't have done what I did. It was truly painful. What are you talking about? Even over the phone, I could tell Oliver was sneering unpleasantly. Don't you get it? I'd never want to do that with you again. My mind went blank. I couldn't think of anything, just listening to Oliver mocking me. I hung up the phone. Then, I understood why he had suddenly become so nice. Oliver was using me and the idea of children to smooth his path to promotion. He never came home again, and we were essentially living apart. Half a year later, I learned about Oliver's situation from a coworker. I hadn't told my grandfather about the separation because I didn't want to trouble him or feel embarrassed.
By the way, I heard your husband got a big promotion to executive.
Really? Tell me more. You live together, so you must know. Well, yes, but
I heard the project he submitted was accepted, and it's been really boosting sales. You must be so proud.
Yeah. Later, my grandfather also told me Oliver had been officially made an executive. I suppose you already know, but I've decided to make Oliver an official part of the executive team. Yeah. There was some resistance from the other executives, but we need young ideas. It's not usually this easy to become one. So, it was my grandfather's support that facilitated his promotion. But there was a big secret hidden behind all this. Knowing the truth, I couldn't contain my anger and immediately took action. Well, it is good news.
If only our marriage had been in a good state, there would have been no issue saying this. My mind was a mess. Even when I got home, I couldn't sort out my thoughts properly. It was a week later when I saw Oliver again for the first time in a while. "I'm home." Seeing his face after such a long time, I didn't know what to say. "Come on, at least greet me properly." "Welcome home." "I just came to pick up some clothes," he said, stuffing items into his bag before leaving again. That was the extent of our conversation. I was thinking it was impossible to continue living like this. The doorbell rang around 9 p.m. on a weekday. Thinking it might be Oliver coming home, I checked the monitor. The face that appeared made me take a closer look. Slowly, I opened the front door. "I'm sorry for coming at such an hour. I just had to tell you this." Standing there was one of Oliver's subordinates who had visited before. Please come in." "Thank you." There was an awkward atmosphere between us. "So, why are you here today?" Before I explain, let me introduce myself a bit. This subordinate's name was Brian. He had been working under Oliver since he joined the company. He said he had been doing his best for Oliver's sake up until now. The main reason I'm here is... He seemed to struggle to start the conversation. "It's okay. It's just the two of us here." "Thank you." Brian looked determined, showing no signs of the anxiety he had before. "It seems Oliver is having an affair." "An affair, huh? Aren't you surprised?" "Well, I had somewhat suspected. Though I didn't know who it was with. It's with a 19-year-old intern." 19, she's still a child. What was he thinking? "And she has been to this house," he said, showing me a video of the two disappearing into a hotel. Their faces were clearly visible in the video. I immediately recognized who it was. Realizing who it was brought me a slight relief. I wonder how long it's been going on. Before he brought her to our house? I'm not sure about that, but it's already become somewhat of a rumor. I see. Brian, I have a favor to ask of you. What is it? I'd like you to come with me to explain this to the president tomorrow. The president? I could understand his surprise. For a regular employee, meeting the president is a rare occurrence. Even more rare is having a conversation with him. I hope it's not rude to ask, but why the president? He's the president, but to me, he's family and my grandfather. What? I couldn't help but wonder if his surprise was warranted. Soon after, the reason became clear. It seems Oliver hadn't disclosed my true identity. He had merely mentioned that his wife worked at the same company. Considering the size of our company and how different departments may have little to no interaction, I found it plausible. I didn't expect you to be so surprised. But anyway, I'm counting on you for tomorrow. We've got all the evidence we need. Understood. And, if I can meet with the president directly, then maybe. Something wrong? No, it's nothing. The next day, we headed to my grandfather's office. Having such easy access at a time like this might be a privilege. I stepped forward and explained the facts I had learned the day before. My grandfather just nodded, listening. I can't believe this. I never thought I'd be so blind to someone's character. I'm sorry, Charlotte. It's not your fault, Grandpa. I share some of the blame too. Then, it was decided to call Oliver in. But that wasn't the only issue. May I add something? Is there more? This. Brian handed over a stack of documents that looked like proposals to my grandfather. This looks similar to the proposal Oliver brought in. What does this mean? You might not believe this, but this is the original draft. So, are you saying Oliver stole the idea? It seems the only explanation. I never imagined uncovering something like this. If this is true, it's outrageous. What will you do? Of course, I want to believe you, but we can't make a decision on the spot. We need an investigation first. Indeed. My grandfather immediately tried to contact Oliver. But he seems to be not in the office. Have you heard anything? No, I thought he went to work as usual this morning. Oh. Now that you mention it, I haven't seen his intern affair partner either. I had a bad feeling. I quickly tried calling Oliver.
No good. He's not answering my calls.
That means he's fled, doesn't it? Thinking he'd get caught? Who knows? Anyway, we'll try to track him down. If Oliver contacts you, let me know immediately. Understood, we said as we left the president's office. I'm sorry. It's not your fault, Brian. If you find out anything, please let me know. Yes. And so, we exchanged contact information and parted ways for the time being. In the end, there was no word from Oliver, and time just painfully ticked by. It was 5 days later when Oliver finally made contact. Hello? What's the rush? Of course I'm rushed. You've caused a lot of trouble. So I've heard. Well, I've got my own things to deal with. What? I'll be coming over to pick up some stuff soon. When are you coming over? I need to prepare too. I'll be coming over to pick up some stuff next week. Oh, and I sent something your way, so take care of it. See ya. I reported this call to my grandfather immediately. Got it. Next Saturday, then. And the internal investigation revealed that Brian's idea was plagiarized by Oliver. I thought as much. After interviewing various employees, they shared that he bragged about it. He's truly despicable. And, Charlotte, I've decided you should take some paid leave. Paid leave? The next step is a direct confrontation. Time is limited, but prepare yourself. I prepared the divorce papers and consulted a lawyer. Given the affair, I could likely claim alimony. As things were, Oliver's arrival tomorrow was imminent. Tomorrow's the day. Let me know as soon as he arrives. Understood. I will. Oliver arrived in the afternoon. Upon confirming this, I sent a message to my grandfather.
Hey. Long time no see. Came to see an ugly mug like yours. Got the divorce papers?
Indeed, a letter had arrived for me the other day. Inside was, undoubtedly, the divorce papers. You came all this way just to check on that? Where have you been all this time? I don't need to tell you that. Anyway, I'm coming in. Oliver, even after disappearing from my life, remained the same. How despicable can one be?
Do you even realize what you've done?
What? Oliver seemed utterly oblivious to how much he's trampled over people's kindness and caused trouble to others. Do you think you could have reached your position without someone's help? What are you talking about? This is all my own doing. A sigh of disbelief escapes me, along with a feeling of shame for ever choosing such a man. After all, Oliver's promotion was thanks to my grandfather, the president. He's even mistaken that as his own doing. I'm still an employee, you know. You're being way too irresponsible.
Then, it's fine by me if you want to fire me. What? Are you stupid?
Such words leaked out in response to my incredibly ignorant husband. Also, I'm taking my clients with me, just so you know. That's not going to make any difference. You don't understand a thing. I'm being headhunted by a rival company. They're offering to pay me nearly double. Are you planning on biting the hand that feeds you? Not much of a favor to bite back on. Then I noticed something else. Behind Oliver stood a young-looking woman, presumably his affair partner. And who might this be? Oh. Let me introduce her, she's going to be my wife, Luna. We're not even divorced yet, you know? I'll pay you alimony. I have the money. I'd rather not pay someone like you, but I will. Saying that, Oliver starts laughing loudly. As I glared at Oliver, the woman began complaining to me. Please forgive us. We are truly in love with each other. So, please give up. You're gonna regret this, you know? That's fine. We won't regret anything. And she is pregnant. So what? Making a kid after an affair, aren't you stupid? Say whatever you want. It just sounds like sour grapes to me. Honestly, hearing she was pregnant really hurt me. I had always wanted children, but it never happened. Unbelievable was the word for it. But I wasn't going to let this be the end. I had taken steps before Oliver and his affair showed up. And the time had come. What are you laughing at? You'll see if you look behind you. Behind Oliver stood the person he'd least want to see right now. Thinking about what was going to happen to him, I couldn't help but feel excited.
President! Why are you here?
Why do you think?
Because I've heard about your wrongdoings.
In that case, I'll resign right here and now. I'm going to transfer to a company that values my skills. Unfortunately, that's not going to be possible. What?
I've had you thoroughly investigated. Which companies have been in touch with you, everything.
That's the company president for you. When he gets serious, it seems nothing is difficult for him. Is that a threat? I'm not threatening you. How low can you go? What? Because it's true. You steal ideas from your subordinates.
Don't joke with me. I came up with that. That's why we were able to increase sales so much. Isn't that right, President?
It's true that sales have increased. However, taking credit for Brian's work is something I cannot overlook. Oliver was shocked. Did he seriously think he wouldn't get caught? If so, he's truly foolish. Anyway, I happen to know one of the executives of the company you've been in touch with. I've made sure they know exactly what kind of person you are. That means no company will hire someone with so many issues. No, that can't be. He was clearly shaken, losing his composure. With this, your information will spread in the industry. It's unfortunate. What about everything I've built up until now? That's gone. You were mistaken to think it was all your own doing. It's all your own fault. Oliver will have to take full responsibility for his actions. And there are others who deserve punishment. And Luna, was it? You're 19, I hear. Yes, but you'll also face consequences for having an affair. But being told this so suddenly. What are you saying now? This is a clear case of infidelity. You'll have to pay the compensation in full. That's. You're 19, right? You can't say you didn't know. If you can't pay, ask your parents. Though I don't know if they'll help you, considering you've eloped. Seeing her face twist in despair almost made me laugh. I wondered if I was always this harsh. Right. There was something I had to give to Oliver. What is it? I handed him something. A divorce paper? It was nicely filled out, so I added my name too.
Wait!
Ah. Too late. Take that and get out. And don't worry about your resignation. We'll handle it from here. My grandfather and I couldn't help but smile at Oliver. Frightened, perhaps, by that, Oliver left with Luna. But this wasn't the end. After confirming they had left, we finally felt a sense of relief. That night, I think I slept soundly for the first time in a while. My grandfather acted swiftly, and Oliver was officially treated as having resigned. We've done what we can on our end. Thank you. I feel relieved. And regarding Brian, I've decided to appoint him as assistant manager. That's good. I hope it compensates him a little. He'll be fine, I'm sure. Soon after, my divorce from Oliver was finalized. Of course, I claimed alimony from both Oliver and Luna. The claim was for about $30,000. The problem was Luna couldn't pay. It turns out Oliver didn't have much saved up either. That leads to.
So, please, reduce Luna's compensation.
That's impossible. Alimony is usually paid in full. You should ask your parents. If that were easy, I wouldn't be struggling.
That's not my problem.
Make sure you pay in full. After that, It seems the two of them started living together. However, Luna's parents did not step in to cover the alimony and effectively disowned her. Oliver, too, was abandoned by his parents and will likely face more hardships from here on. To me, it's all the same now.
As for me, I'm living a peaceful life on my own. From now on, I plan to dedicate myself to work, for my grandfather's sake as well.